Okay, so this is my second time trying this. I had a lot of projects I wanted to do for this show, or things I wanted to show off. By the way, I'm at the ferry. It's the next day after the trip here, so get ready. The projects I really wanted to work on were the portability to the best of my abilities. So I'm doing this from my phone and I'm trying to talk to you and stuff, but you'll notice there's an echo or something like that. I don't know what this sounds like right now. There's a low rumble everywhere, so you best get used to that. On my trip, one of the problems I had with my phone or with my car was the cruise control was off, and at 60, 70 miles per hour, it would start to like shake the steering wheel. So I took it to the garage. I got my car fixed. I couldn't do a lot of things outside of Cheney. I had to get my wheels fixed or replaced, and all this stuff, and it cost me $800. I was not happy about it. But then on my trip from Cheney to Ellensburg, my cruise control went out. And I was just like, oh, come on. And the worst part was it was on an easy hill, not a hill that I needed to worry about. And I mean, I had hit plenty of other hills beforehand, so it was annoying, but I decided to keep going. I went to Wendy's in Ellensburg, filled up with gas, and headed back out. And you know what? It was a good idea to not have cruise control too much because there was a lot of traffic and kind of dicey roads, so it was a blessing in disguise. I get to Seattle, and pretty much from there it gets weird. I arrived there, and it turns out everything had arrived by truck 30 minutes before I was there, so I couldn't do a lot. Let me show you. I saw these pigeons right next to my parking lot. This is the parking lot I go to whenever I decide to park in Seattle, just because it's close to everything and it costs fairly not a lot of money to do stuff. $20 if you must know. Anyway, the pigeons are everywhere. There's a couple homeless people, but I think it's okay to take a picture of the pigeons, but not the homeless people. And I saw this car on my way there, and I was just like, ooh, I like the design on that. I like the color yellow. Anyway, it's Seattle, you know? Every time I come here, I see the buildings, and I'm like, oh, look, home. And I saw this zigzag, and I think this is the first time I've seen the zigzag. Anyway, you know, lots of pictures for people to enjoy. And I'm really hoping this isn't showing up too much for you. Blah, blah, blah. I was trying to get a shot of this berry, and I just couldn't quite get it focused, and I don't know why. This flower is awesome. It's even better this way. Anyway, I arrived, and everything was there. They had just barely moved it all in, so I was like, okay, I can do this. And I was like, okay, who else is here? And the guy there was like, it's me. It's me and you. And we're gonna set this entire arcade up. So I immediately got all of the, there were tables in different places and various things. So I immediately moved all the arcade machines so that they kind of worked together, and plugged them in and saw if they worked, and they worked fine. And I moved the tables to place and, just tried to get everything organized. And then the electrician comes in and he's like, you're going to have to move all of a bunch of stuff. Oh.
Welcome aboard the Washington State Ferry. The following message is an important safety announcement. For security reasons, we ask that passengers not leave any backpacks, luggage, packages, or other personal belongings unattended during this crossing. Upon arrival at our final destination,
not much I can do about this.
all passengers must depart the vessel. In the event of a shipwreck emergency,
Okay, I'm gonna try to sit somewhere so that you're not getting this as bad. Okay, so, oh man, it is a beautiful day. I'm actually, the ferry is taking off, so I'm looking at all sorts of trees and stuff. So I get there, and Chris, the guy there, was like, well, this is my first, this is my first show, so, how do I get things arranged? So I quickly arranged the arcades. See those tables in the middle? I moved them around so that we had kind of a desk.
Passengers may have special needs during an emergency.
Bloody hell.
Identify themselves to any crew member
I'm just trying to get some quietness. Ah, here we are. So, we set everything up. It took us hours. And, you know, those are legs. And I gotta admit to you, I need to really learn how to set up a pinball table a lot better. I mean, I can, but there's a lot of steps I forget, or, you know, I just kind of screw it up. And I'm too slow. I need to hurry it up. Anyway, I looked at everything and I was just like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. And yes, all of those are autographed. That Street Fighter, it's a classic machine and it's autographed, but it's a little bit fuzzy. Dan needs to work on it a little. That's okay. And what you're actually looking at is a lot more games than you think, because some of those arcade machines actually have multicades in them. So the Donkey Kong has a 1 in 60, and there's a multicade Williams there, and that Pac-Man machine has something like 100 games worth of Pac-Man games. And you know, this is a hallway just right next door to us. We're really close to the elevator, which is going to be nice. And blah blah blah. So it takes us all freaking day to get to the spot or get everything working. And then the electrician comes in and goes, you're gonna have to move everything. And we're like, oh, dang it. And he's like, no, listen, I fully understand. I've worked with feds. This is just gonna take a lot of power. So you're gonna have to move all the power cables and stuff and get all the, move this off to here, because we're just not gonna have enough power to supply you. And I was like, okay, fine. So it was just me and Chris setting everything up. I did the legs as best I could, you know, put in balls, all of that. I was able to show him, like, okay, this is how you store stuff, this is how you kind of get stuff moved. And he was like, okay. And honestly, this wrench right here is great, because it is the 2 wrench sizes you need if you're doing pinball tables. Perfect, right? So, well, this one doesn't work, just use the other one. Perfect. And it costs like 20 bucks, and it's perfect for what I need. And I was like, yeah, okay. I'll just order this off Marcos. And then, let's see. This is a shot of the arcade. I think this was hour 3. Yeah. Like, not everything had been set up. Some things had settled in between the... yeah. Some things had settled, I guess, and so we had to kind of prop it up and work on it from there. And since the arcade machines were up, people would just walk in and we'd be like, "Go play." You know, we're working on other stuff, so you know, enjoy this. You're obviously another exhibitor, so we're gonna get on your good side, so then you can give us deals. You know what I mean? And see that scale? We were trying to make sure that each pinball table was perfectly level, was at the right level. And you know, there's instructions in the manuals on like which degree each pin needs to be set up. And so we were keeping it to a fine, perfect minimum, and it was great, this little device. It costs about 60 bucks, and it's totally worth it. It really is. Just gives you all the details you need. And this is going to be the RPG area, the pen and paper RPG area. I snagged some of those waters. They told me I could. And it's also kind of the head place for our floor. The guy in charge of us is in there sometimes. So yeah, we worked on things. We kind of had to move things around. I forget why we had to pull that up. Oh, we had to find the power cord. Yeah. Anyway, this is Chris's Tomcat, and he was like, okay, gotta make sure this, gotta make sure this. So he was being very particular. Once again, this is that level. You know, it gives you a digital readout of, you know, the exact angle you're at and all that stuff. So seriously, that is amazing. And you'll see that this table is level. And yeah, this is pretty much our floor. Those are the escalators, and that's what it's gonna look like. So if you are at Emerald City Comic Con, come down to the arcade. We're all set up and we're ready to be played. And I'm gonna go set up more after this ferry ride. But you are going to have an awesome time. So come on down. We're ready for you. Oh, this is the angle from that you can see. So we made Street Fighter very obvious because it was pulling in people as we were setting up. And I took Chris to his house, and then, oh yeah! GPS, instead of giving me directions to the Seattle to Bremerton ferry, it took me to the Bremerton ferry. So it took me to a different ferry. I actually saw Vashon Island. got dropped off in Port Orchard, had to, just guess my way a bit. By the time I got to the place I'm staying, to Adam's place, I was completely out. I was just like, oh, come on. I need to go to bed at this time. I should have been here 4 hours ago. But all the electrical stuff is set up, I believe. Everything is kind of working, so we should be good. It's really cool. Adam actually made this little cozy spot for me at these cloth walls, so I won't be bothered when they're walking by, or I won't bother them with my sleeping. And they've provided a courtesy dog for me. I miss my dog, so Paco was like more than willing to step in and help me out. And yeah, it's a nice little room with a bunch of video games. Oh, and Adam made sure to wants to make sure that you all know that TV is awesome. He made sure to really work on it, or to get a really cool CRT, because it takes a composite input, so you can get up to 480i and 480p on that CRT. So he's all proud of himself. He's like, yeah, 480p off my GameCube and off of my Super Nintendo. Yeah. So it's been a day. It was a really hectic day and kind of annoying in all sorts of aspects. But about the time that I was driving through Port Orchard, I realized it was beautiful, and I actually kind of enjoyed myself. So everything works. It just took a lot of steps in between that I didn't expect. So come on down to Emerald City Comic Con, and you don't need a badge to come into the arcade. If you feel like talking to me, totally go for it. And I'll catch you all later.